All right, so here, this video is a gem right here.
A gem.
Yep.
You know, I told myself I wasn't going to make another video while I was on vacation, but I was watching the memorial service this morning for the Dallas officers, and I just decided I have to make this video. And I don't like making these types of videos because, like I said, I can't edit myself because I have no editing software, no computer, no nothing with me. But I wanted to talk about the hypocrisy of what he said. In his speech, he talked about how the Founding Fathers gave us the type of country that can fight against tyranny. And he goes on to talk about, oh, how we have this elective republic that can, you know, vote for our best interests and we can make changes without violence, etc. But he neglected to say that one of the major things that our Founding Fathers did so that we can fight against tyranny is gave the citizens the right to be as well armed as the military, law enforcement, the government, etc. Completely neglects to mention that part. It's kind of, like I said, it's a great deal of hypocrisy there when you say that.
I mean, like, the citizenry is not allowed to be as armed as the military. Nope. You know, no one's gonna let you have a fucking, like, F-16.
Dude, that's like, yeah, that's the most vast and broad interpretation of the Second Amendment I've ever heard. I mean, quite literally, it's just like, I should be able to have whatever they have.
Yeah, I mean, that's ludicrous.
Like, why would you need a tank? You know what I mean? Like a fully operational tank. Like, what would the purpose for this guy to be? So he can keep the government in check?
Just in case the government comes, I got something to fight back with.
Oh, the way that the Founding Fathers wanted us to fight against tyranny was to be able to vote, you know, for politicians that are then controlled by big money interests, corporations, and, you know, big donors, not for the people, by the people themselves. That is, you know, that's a big hypocritical thing to say. So you can't say one without the other. If you acknowledge the fact that they gave us the right to vote to fight tyranny, then you have to acknowledge the fact that they gave us the right to defend ourselves and to be well armed to fight tyranny. But you don't see him ever doing that. And then I wanted to talk about how he went even further and just blatantly lied about how we flood cities with so many guns and that it's easier for a teenager to get a hold of a Glock than it is for a computer or a book. Where in the world is it easier for a teenager to get a hold of a Glock?
Well, according to a video... According to a video we watched on the show, a gun show is a place where a teenager can get a gun pretty easily.
There's tons of people that like their relatives and family members and friends own guns that they just leave lying around and then someone just grabs one.
Yeah.
Block than it is a computer or a book. That doesn't exist anywhere in this world, in this country at least.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really kind of ridiculous to say it's easier to get than a book, because a book is easy.
A book is easier to get.
A computer, though, I can definitely see it being easier to get a gun than a computer, because a computer is way more expensive than a fucking gun.
Not in this country. It probably does exist in some places like Africa, etc., South Africa, but it doesn't exist here. It might exist in some, you know, Middle Eastern countries, but it doesn't exist here. That kind of place does not exist here, where a teenager can get a Glock easier than they can get a book or a computer. So I just want to point out that
go to a little bit more effort.
Yeah,
that you would, for one, that
it's
you
a little
would
bit
use the
easier.
funeral of
So
these fallen police officers to spout your political rhetoric that are based nothing but more than baseless lies that you would.
Dude, I never understand this shit. Like, how after this tragedy happened, they're trying to politicize it. Like, it inherently is a political issue.
Oh, that gets so old when people say that.
You're so dumb. I hate these people who fucking toe that shitty line. It's like, I'm sorry, but what society is going to do about this is a political issue. You can't help but make it political. It is political. What do you want the politicians to do? Just be like, we ain't got nothing. This ain't the purview of politics. Do you have any idea how outraged America would be if they just kind of like shrugged their shoulders and went, not our job?
Well, with gun control, it's kind of what they've done.
I mean, I think that one side has definitely done that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, they control the legislative body, so you know that essentially controls the laws.
Oh yeah. I wish this guy had straightened my teeth when he drew this picture. You know, why do you got? I know my teeth are really like that in real life, where one front tooth goes down lower than the other. But you could have fucking taken some artistic liberties there.
Well, when you do realism, you don't do cosmetic corrections.
Bullshit. Not true at all.
She just wants a court painter that'll paint him like flatteringly.
That's what I'm saying. Like court painters back in the day, they painted photorealistic shit, but they exaggerated you. They made you look good because they know you're paying top dollar for that fucking painting.
Well, you paid nothing for that, though.
I know. I paid him with entertainment for years, Scotty.
Oh, whatever.
Use that opportunity to do that. And then that you would make up shit like that whole, oh, it's easier to get locked in a book or a computer, because that's garbage. The only people that would believe that are morons. So I can't believe that you would do that.
Why do you even care about that point?
You want to talk about what the founders wanted, and you want to talk about what the founders did. Well, how about one thing they spelled out implicitly, and that's that the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. You don't seem to care what the founders thought about that.
Well,
and obviously you don't care what the founders thought about our political system either, because you are one of the big...
I mean, I honestly don't give a fuck about what the founders thought about much of anything.
Their time has come and passed.
Yeah, they lived fucking 200-something years ago. They're dead. They're gone. They don't understand today's fucking political climate. They don't understand the problems that we face today. To defer to their wisdom is fucking retarded.
Well,
I mean,
like hardcore Second Amendment advocates don't care about what the founders wanted either, because they don't want to talk about the fucking object of the Second Amendment, which is a well-regulated militia. The term well-regulated is in the Second Amendment.
Communism. Yeah, they do tend to gloss over well-regulated, don't they?
They do.
They also don't seem to give a fuck if the First Amendment's violated over and over again.
That one ain't as important.
Biggest puppets of big industry. You're one of the biggest puppets of the insurance agencies I've ever seen. So you, Hillary Clinton, all of you, right, left.
I mean, the fundamental flaw of this shit is like, the First Amendment matters not because the founders thought it mattered, but because we can actually make an argument for why it matters. The Second Amendment, like, yeah, you can make an argument for why it matters, but I can also make an argument for why it doesn't matter and why it's just fucking stupid. I mean, I don't think that is a fundamental right of people. I don't think it should be anyway. I don't think that should be the second most important thing, is that we can have guns. Especially in a world where the government outguns any fucking private citizen, like, just by a ridiculous margin. If the government wants to fuck with you, your guns ain't gonna fucking save you from shit.
Yeah, the guns are not on the receiving ends of the bullets that these fucking people fire off. The citizenry is. So your bulwark against the tyranny of the government ain't working too well.
Yeah,
so that argument falls a little flat with me. Sorry.
The Branch Davidians at fucking Waco had guns. Didn't save them. The Cliven Bundy's kids had guns. They still fucking got fucked. Doesn't matter. You can fucking have your little militia, and you can have your guns, and you can think you're gonna fucking take on the government, but when it comes right down to it, the government's gonna fuck your shit up no matter what. Because they're better supplied, they have better resources, they have way more money. You don't stand a fucking chance. You don't stand a fucking chance.
Republican, Democrat, none of you care about what this country was meant to be, what the founders set up to do. That you don't care about protecting our freedoms. If you care,
I don't give a fuck, because you know what?
Yeah, why don't we think for our fucking selves and not just be like, the founders said this? Like, okay, why are you fucking? Why you treat them like like they're messiahs, like they're fucking prophets? Like, okay, we have to follow what these people thought. It's like, maybe then when everyone agreed that's what was the best course of action, sure, but times change.
If you want to talk about what the founders thought, Thomas Jefferson, one of the architects of this fucking country, said that we should not be beholden to what the founders thought. He said that that the country should grow and evolve. He actually said that there should be a new constitution every fucking 20 years.
Yep.
So that we're not fucking so we're not slaves to fucking some old antiquated fucking moral suppositions and shit.
Exactly.
So fuck what the fuck the founders. All right, fuck them. They're fucking old, dead, stupid sons of bitches who weren't right about shit.
They founded it, though.
Who gives a shit what they did? It was a long fucking time ago. I mean, they've been fucking elevated beyond fucking reason. It's insane. I mean, they were smart guys who had some fucking compelling, original fucking thoughts. And they fucking formed a new country.
They were also products of their time. And things that exist now that didn't exist then are not compensated for in the Constitution. That's why the amendments exist, is because the founders wanted the Constitution to be a mutable document. They wanted it to change with the times.
Yes.
They accepted the fallibility of man, basically, and it's the whole point.
About protecting our freedoms, you'd make sure that no police department had more armaments than the people. No police department should be able to take out an entire city with just 20 of them because of the armaments they receive. Citizens should be just as well armed as their police and as...
Then what's the fucking point of having a police department? What's the point? What's the point of having a police department that can't fight anybody? that can't protect you from somebody because everybody that they go to is just as well armed, if not more well armed than they are. They can't bring a tank because, you know, the guy's got a fucking tank.
Yeah, I mean,
it's paranoia, too. He's basically saying, like, 20 cops are just going to destroy an entire city. It's like, what? What's the incentive to destroy the city? They're just like, you know, we got to crush this rebellion. People like him are rising up. We have such armaments that we can just take them all out. I mean, I guess it could happen, but it just seems far-fetched at this point.
Sometimes as their military, even. So although I'm not as worried about the military. I don't think every citizen. Don't worry. I'm not thinking everyone should have an H bomb or a nuclear bomb or anything like that.
Okay, so you're selective.
War, we should be able to take our numbers.
Well, but they have H bombs. The government has hydrogen bombs. They have atomic weapons. They have fucking ICBMs. We need those, or we're going to be a fucking disadvantage if the people rise up.
He's saying that we need to be able to have we never be able to at least have the advantage in a ground war. It's like you don't, because they have aerial strike capabilities and all sorts of missiles and weapons and shit.
What a fucking idiot!
Have.
Yeah, we don't line up. We don't line up in a big empty field and take shots at each other anymore. That's not how war works anymore. That's how it worked when the founders wrote the document. We'd all stand in a field, half a mile apart and shoot fucking lead at each other until one of us gave up.
Fire the first volley!
Yeah, now it turns out that, if there's a bunch of fucking raving lunatic rednecks with guns rampaging through a city, and we have to fucking quell the uprising, something tells me they're not going to send troops.
Come. But if you give it to where the small little amount of armaments you allow us to have can't overcome anything, if you only allow us to have little semi-automatic pistols or single-shot revolvers, and then we can't overcome 1,000 of us, couldn't overcome 2 guys in an armored vehicle.
The most powerful gun that you can purchase, the most powerful fucking bullet-firing gun ever made would not protect you from the fucking government.
A fucking
so this
auto...
argument. Yeah, I mean, whatever you want. A fucking 50 cal, chain firing fucking cannon that they put on top of a fucking Humvee in Iraq. That's not going to protect you from the government.
It's not going to protect you from
your
a
whole
Hellfire missile.
No, your whole fucking argument falls apart, and it boils down to, I just like guns. I want to be able to have guns. They don't really protect me from nothing, but I want a gun.
At least that would be an honest fucking argument.
No, this guy's going to stand up to the might of the Hellfire missile. What are you talking about? He's going to shoot. He's going to shoot out of the air.
Just takes a fucking Old West 6-shooter and just shoots a government drone out of the sky.
So that's just not the way the founders wanted this country to be. So I just wanted to make this video to say, like I said, that it was such a hypocritical moment to sit up there and talk about what the founders wanted and how we're supposed to fight tyranny, and then with your next breath,
you just said
tell lies about the Second Amendment to undermine what the founders wanted. One of the main things the founders set up for us to be able to defend our liberties with and to fight against tyranny with. So you just lose credibility every time you open your mouth lately. And I don't understand why.
I interpret the will of the founders.
Push through your gun control because it's your main thing. It's that's what you've been told by the insurance companies.
It's Obama's main thing.
What? And he's been told it by insurance companies? Okay.
That they want rid of, because they don't want people out there with the means to hurt themselves, because then they have to pay out on policies. So they want everyone to be disarmed, helpless little sheep wrapped in bubble wrap, and you're helping them do that. So, because liberty and freedom is never safe. You're never safe when you're free.
Look, if I'm ever genuinely concerned about protecting my fucking liberty or freedom, I'm not going to come to you and your ilk to do it. You do not look like a warrior for liberty or freedom. You look like a fucking retard. So I don't need your protection. I don't want you protecting my liberty and freedom. You clearly have been demonstrated to not be protecting anything, because you've admitted that the government has weapons that are far beyond the capabilities of any gun. So
it's just part of being free. So you kind of have to choose one or the other. And if you choose safety over freedom, like Ben Franklin says, you really don't deserve either, and you have either.
Oh my God.
So choose freedom, and don't listen to this crap.
Choose freedom. What does that even mean?
Shame on you for saying that kind of crap. Shame on you for politicizing this, and shame on you for praising the founders with one hand while you still actively undermine their whole ideas, and then totally ignoring and then even desecrating what they say with the other hand.